Welcome back to another video. In this video I'm going to go over how to track your body weight working shifts so that you can tell if you're actually losing weight over the course of the week or gaining weight if you are in a muscle building phase. As you can see from the left hand side of the screen, you're probably doing it wrong. We're going to cover what to expect from your scale weight when you're working shifts, and we're going to go over at the end how to actually track your scale weight properly. I'm going to pull up a spreadsheet and go over that with yourself and teach you how to actually do it and what things we can expect and what things to look out for that may influence your weight, even though we're actually losing body fat over the course of the week. If you have any questions, pop them into the comment section or just message me on Instagram and I'll get back to you. So number one, you are doing it wrong. These are some of the things to look at. What time are you taking your weights? What time of day are you taking your weights? What days of the week are you weighing in? Are you weighing in specifically on a Sunday at 4 p.m. when you go to the gym? If your PT is an absolute cabbage and he or she gets you to weigh in at the gym at 4 o'clock in the afternoon when you've been drinking all day, eating food all day, probably drank an extra 2 litres of water in the gym. Take these things into account. Are you tracking food? Are you tracking food using MyFitnessPal? Are you looking at the sodium content of that food? Are you looking at your meal timing? And not that that's going to actually impact your fat loss over the course of the week, but it may impact your scale weight acutely if you eat at 10 o'clock at night on a back shift and you weigh in the next day at 6 o'clock in the morning. There's a lot less time in between 10 and 6 o'clock than there is if you eat your dinner at 6 o'clock after an early shift. You've then had 12 hours before you then step on the scales the next day. Are you weighing in at the gym? Don't ever weigh in at the gym, please. Just don't ever do that. I don't even understand why they have scales in the gym. If there's one thing you take from this video, don't ever weigh in at the gym. If you have a PT who ever asks you to weigh in at the gym, cut them off. Get a new one. Blue light coaching. That's who you should go to. How often are you weighing in? Obviously, the more accurately and the more often we do something, the more accurate that's going to be. That's the one thing to take from this video. What to expect from your scale weight when you're working shifts. So if sleep has been crap, your weight will probably go up. That's something to expect for myself when I was coming off night shifts. So last night shift into my first rest day, I would go to bed. I wasn't one of those people who could stay up and go to bed at night. If you're one of those people, you're weird. For myself, I couldn't stay up. I would go to bed for 3 or 4 hours and I would try and wake up before midday so that I could try and kind of get back into that normal sleep routine. My weight was always heavier on that first rest day. I'd only had 3 or 4 hours sleep. I wasn't feeling great when I woke up, feeling a bit groggy. These are the things to expect from that. So instead of waking up after a really, really crap shift where you've had a crap sleep and you step on the scales and the weight's up and you then go into a downward spiral for the day thinking, oh my God, I've put weight on. You haven't. It's not body fat. You haven't accumulated any body fat on your last night shift. You just weigh more because you've had a shit sleep. Okay? Quick turnaround between shifts for myself from the Saturday back shift into the Sunday back shift. Again, usually we would get held on the Saturday night. This will depend where you work. We then had the early start on the Sunday, so there was very little amount of time between those two shifts. Again, sleep was usually impacted. My weight was usually a bit higher from that Saturday into Sunday. Are you eating on the go, McDonald's, etc.? These things will have higher sodium content. Sodium, if we think of sodium as basically just salt, the easiest way to think about this, if you're eating lots of salty foods, you're then kind of dehydrated, so your body's going to hold on to slightly more water. Try and think about it like that. It's the easiest way to think about it. Your body is then essentially a sponge and you're holding extra water. It's the easiest way to think about it. You don't need to worry about it though. If you've had slightly more sodium the day before, expect your weight to go up a wee bit. It will then come back down. Now, normally, even if it was your full-time job, let's say you left whatever emergency service role it is that you're in, if you were literally getting paid the same amount of money to stay at home and lose weight, your weight would still fluctuate 1 to 2%. So if you'd done everything perfectly, if you had a chef at home who cooked all your meals throughout the day, said, look, these are your calories, these are going to be exactly what you need to eat to lose weight, and those were your calories, your weight would still fluctuate 1 to 2% on a daily basis. So you can expect at least a fluctuation of 1 to 2%. It will be more than that if you work shifts, so expect that to happen. It doesn't mean that you've not made progress over the course of the week, and you don't need to then beat yourself up and feel like you've failed if your weight's went up 2 pounds on a given day. It's completely normal. For women, you will need to look at hormonal changes in the body. If I was working with a female client who worked 9 to 5, Monday to Friday, and they had a regular, consistent menstrual cycle, we would track week 1 of month 1, and we would only compare that with week 1 of month 2, because then we're going to be at the similar stages of cycle. Now, if we work shifts, week 1 of month 1 could be an early shift, and week 1 of month 2 could be a back shift, and you could actually weigh more on back shifts than you do on early shifts, just down to your sort of sleep routine. So this is something to be aware of. What you'll usually see is the week after period week, your weight will usually come down and you'll usually hit new low weights off the back of it. Expect it to maybe go up the week before period week and then the week of period week. and then you'll start to see those new low weights populate the following week before you then start to move through different stages of cycle once again. How to track your weight properly. Now remember, I'm actually going to go over this with you on a spreadsheet in a moment and show you what to expect from it, but I'm going to go over how to actually track it properly. So you should be doing daily weigh-ins. Now, when we take weigh-ins, you want to take those weigh-ins when you wake up, not in the morning, but when you wake up. When you wake up, after you've been to the toilet, before you eat or drink anything, and ideally just take the weigh-ins in the scud or in your underwear, ideally. Just if I weigh on the scales just now and then I go and put a full outfit on with trainers and step on the scales, I'm then going to have the original weight plus the weight of the entire outfit. So it's just tracking these things as accurately as possible. When you wake up, after you've been to the toilet, before you eat or drink anything. So remember that. Try and get that in your head. If you're weighing in at 3 o'clock in the afternoon, or if you're getting home from a night shift, and then taking a morning weight because some idiot has told you to take a morning weight, don't do it. Go to bed and then take your weight when you wake up. All right. If the weight's gone up, there's a reason for this. Now, for you to accumulate 4 pounds of body fat, it's going to take you a lot longer than one day. So if you have a rest day at the weekend and you have a night out or you go for a barbecue or something like that, and you have alcohol and you have extra food, let's say it's even a high food day, your weight's probably going to be up the next day. It's not from an accumulation of body fat, it's just from your weight. So, for example, what do you think would happen if I stepped on the scales and then drank this bottle of water and then stepped on the scales? My weight would be up because of the things that I've consumed. Now that's going to be an acute increase in weight. The weight will then come back down, hopefully once I go to the toilet. Simples. So don't be too quick to make changes, and this is something that I see quite a lot, certainly from clients that come through to myself. They'll be on below 1,000 calories a day because they're like, well, I'm just not losing weight. But again, they're weighing in once a week with a PT in a gym at 4 o'clock in the afternoon. The one thing to take from this is give yourself time to see the sort of changes, and I'm going to go over that with you on the spreadsheet in a moment, but don't be too quick to make changes. So for example, if you weigh 190 pounds and one day you have 194 pounds, don't think, oh my god, I've put on 4 pounds of body fat, I now need to reduce my calories by an extra 300, because you're basically going to kind of crash diet. You will get to the point where your calories are too low, you feel like shit, you've got absolutely zero energy, and then you'll give up and you'll end up back at square one. So stick around, I'm going to switch over to the next screen and I will show you the spreadsheet and we'll go over it together. So this is an example of a spreadsheet. This is one of the kind of tools that I use for my online coaching. We're not giving you all of the tricks that we use. This is just 2 of the columns that we use, and I think it's extremely important to teach you guys about it. So again, set up a spreadsheet like this if you want to. Go into Excel, go into whatever it is that you use, track it. You can even track it on the notes on your phone if you want to, just so that you've got somewhere where you can track it and you can check the dates and you can put your shifts in. So for my clients, I will get my clients to weigh in every single day. Now, there's a lot of people I have worked with and do work with who have had very, very bad relationships with the scales. This is the easiest way to sort of get past that. I have clients I work with who'll step on the scales now and their weight's up a couple of pounds and they literally don't care. Steps on scales, weight's up 2 pounds, but I'm down 2 pounds over the course of the week. So this is the easiest way to do it, and I'm going to show that to you just now. So for example, let's say for myself, I weighed in at 197.34 on the Monday. For whatever reason, I was off on the Monday. I was then early shift, so track your shifts, it's extremely important. Now, I always had a shit sleep before early shift. The longer it took me to get to sleep, the more stressed I got about not getting to sleep, which then impacted me actually getting to sleep. I'm sure a lot of you will be in the same boat with that. Getting up at 5:30 in the morning is not ideal. So let's say the next day I weigh in at 199.43. Okay, so I've not put on any body fat between those 2 days. I just weigh slightly more the next day because it's been a very, very bad sleep and I've weighed in extremely early. The next day I'm then onto my second early shift. My weight stabilised a wee bit. I've managed to get to sleep that night. I'm then off for, let's see, this is a weird set of shifts that I'm making up for this one. So I'm then off and off. I get a nice long lie. I hit a 196.43. The next day I hit a 196.11 or 12. Fuck it, we've written it now. So I'm then in for back shifts at the weekend. I have my Saturday back shift and my Sunday back shift. So Saturday back shift, I get a really nice long lie and I hit 196 dead. 1960. I then get held on for 3 hours on the Saturday back shift, and then before I know it, I'm back in for work on the Sunday. I've had 6 hours sleep, I'm rushing to wake up, I don't have time to do anything, I step on the scales quickly, I've not been to the toilet properly. Let's say I weigh in at 198.12. So you can see the differences between all of those weights over the course of the week. I've had a 196, I've had a 197, I've had a 199, and I've had a couple of 198s in there. This number in the green box at the bottom, this is the only number that you want to focus on. It's the only number that you want to focus on. Now, let's go on to week 2. Okay, so over the course of the first week, we've had a 197.45 on average. The next week, we have had 196.59 on average. These should be the only weights that we compare. These green boxes here should be the only weights that we compare. So, for example, let's say you weighed in the previous Saturday at 196. You then weighed in the following Sunday at 198.12. If you're taking one weigh in a week, you'll think, oh my god, I've put on nearly 2.5 pounds over the course of the week. I now need to do something else. I need to increase my output. I need to start going running more. I need to reduce my calories even further. Whereas in actual fact, you went from a 197.45 to a 196.59. So you've actually lost weight over the course of the week. This is hopefully showing you how important it is to actually track as many weights as we can. And yeah, of course, there will be days where you have something to do in the morning and you wake up and you rush out and you forget to take your weigh-in. Try and just take as many of them as you can over the course of the week. The more weigh-ins you have over the week, the more accurate your average weight will be by the end of the week, and then you can actually track progress with that. Hopefully you've learned something from this video. If you did find this video useful, give it a wee thumbs up down at the bottom. It's free, doesn't cost you guys anything. If you haven't subscribed already, make sure you subscribe to the channel so that I can keep making videos like this for you guys. If you're working tonight, stay safe out there, and I will speak to you tomorrow.